Okay, so I did, can the food you eat affect the chances of having cancer when you're older? Okay, so the first is a risk factor diet. The central goal of this study was to show how your diet can really affect you as you grow up and even cause a disease like cancer. Like if you eat a lot of like processed foods and stuff, it can really like have an impact when you eat them at a younger age. Like it'll come back to bite you. Um, they did a type of study called a randomized trial. A method they used was to compare diets to people who eat well versus people who eat poorly. This was also randomized. And then they found that the people who have higher intakes versus those who have lower intakes can have a higher chance of having cancer. And although this randomized study is not as good as it says, the randomized study does not have a big effect on it. This is linked to the question of the title because I asked a question about how food can impact the chance of receiving cancer, and they're just saying yeah, and their answer is yes, just not in randomized ways. Here's a photo basically showing like cancer prevention recommendations of like what to eat, like what's good, what's not, like definitely a lot of like protein, vegetables, stuff like that. The next one was a review of evidence. The goal of this study was to review anti-cancer diets. It is a clinical trial, gathering data and putting it into tables to see the evidence of specific food and how they relate to cancer is a method they used. They found that the healthier you eat, the less chance you have of getting cancer, especially vegetables like spinach, Brussels sprouts, like just very healthy greens, like really limit this. And how is this linked again? The food can affect your chances of getting cancer. They did clinical trials on it, and studies showed that more vegetables help reduce the risk of getting cancer when you are older. Again, this is just some cancer foods. Again, a lot of greens on there, a lot of fruit, a lot of foods like low in fat, high in protein, like just like, foods that are very good for your body that'll give you energy. Because I feel like when I eat like McDonald's or something, like I don't feel as well, but like when I eat like salad for dinner, like I definitely feel a boost of energy, like my body feels a lot better. Analysis. The central goal of this study is to see if ultra-processed foods are associated with the chance of getting cancer. Type of this study is a descriptive study. A method they used was proportions to come through those who ate ultra-processed foods and those who did not eat as much. My dad eats extremely healthy, and he eats like salad 5 times a day and yogurt, and like I already know like when he's older, like he's definitely like gonna be very healthy for his age. Like he walks a lot. So I feel like that also, like for example, like someone like my grandpa, who he actually didn't have cancer, but he definitely like had some issues with his health when he got older because he ate a lot of like processed cookies and like a lot of fast food, and like obviously once in a while that's not going to kill you, but when you eat it a lot it can have a big effect on your health when you get older. They found that yes, this method was true. It says that an average of 10% increased cancer risk when eating ultra processed foods. Again, like said before, processed foods are really bad for you. Like you really don't know what you're eating when it comes out of a box. Like you don't know what chemicals they could be putting in there. So definitely, like if you want to avoid cancer when you're older, you definitely avoid processed foods. How this work is linked again, it is linked because the ultra processed foods definitely again increase your risk of having cancer when you're older. This is just a graph of every 10% point increase in ultra processed food consumption increase the risk for cancer, and just showing like again like how cancer can increase the risk. And also again, like back to what I was saying about the processed foods, like it really is so important to just always eat well, always drink a lot of water. Like if you have a day where you don't eat well, like McDonald's or something, like I definitely think a good idea would be to like drink a lot of water and make sure you like balance it out. Like for me, if I like have McDonald's for lunch, like I know like when I like that night, like I need to eat like salad or something, like I need to balance it out. Or if I have a donut for breakfast, then I'm gonna go and like for lunch have some carrots and chicken. Like you have to make sure you have a balance. Like obviously everything in moderation isn't very bad, but when you have too much of something, it definitely can, not be good for you. Another processed food that's really bad is processed meats. Like if you're having like Cheez-Its, like all right, that's not as bad. But if you're eating like bacon and like turkey, like those processed meats that come in those shapes, those are extremely bad. And those like actually like pepperoni like actually causes cancer. Like there's stuff in it that causes cancer. So those are definitely foods that you want to avoid. And this is just my works cited. So, yeah.